Hello and welcome to Bleach Mondays. From now until the return of the anime in July, I will be releasing a Bleach video every Monday to fill the hole that has been left by the anime. If there are any specific topics you'd like to see me cover, let me know in the comment section down below. Bear in mind though guys, I am notoriously terrible at keeping schedules, so there might be a few weeks where I fail to deliver, but I thought I'd put it in a video and be transparent with you guys about my plans. That way I would have a further incentive to stick to them and not let you guys down. With that being said though, let's dive right into why the Bleach 1000 Year Blood War adaptation is the perfect anime comeback. The original run of the Bleach anime wasn't terrible, but it wasn't particularly great either. In some regards, like the soundtrack, voice acting, and distinct style that separates it from many of its shonen contemporaries, it's fantastic. But in other regards, like pacing, production quality, and the god-awful amount of filler, it's inconsistent at best and just plain bad at worst. The 1000 Year Blood War anime fixes all of the negatives whilst enhancing the positives. In the 13 episodes we've received so far, we've had some of the best voice acting performances I've ever seen, especially from Masakazu Morita, the voice actor of Ichigo. We've had not only the poems from the manga finally included, but brand new ones written by Kubo at the end of every episode. We've had an absolutely wonderful range of new soundtracks and remixes by none other than Shiro Sagisu, the composer for the original anime, though I will admit we haven't reached the peaks of the OG anime in terms of soundtrack just yet. We've had the title cards that were a staple of the original anime enhanced, and they've gone from these really cool but simple shots into well-timed title reveals that are integrated into the episode itself. The pacing has been fantastic and reflects exactly what Kubo was going for in the manga, and it's just been an all-round much better experience for the anime. Kubo's presence in the creation of this anime is felt in every single beat of the production. His thoughts on the original anime were very mixed. There were some things he liked and some things he felt were completely distorted, and whose judgment is better than the creator of this story. I don't want to make it sound like the original anime was bad, because it definitely wasn't, but it missed the mark on some of the most defining traits of this story, and this new 1000 Year Blood War anime is making a very strong effort in being true to the source material. In terms of pacing, I've actually seen some mixed opinions regarding this. Some people are convinced the 1000 Year Blood War anime has been a little too quick, making the experience feel rushed and unnatural. And there are some instances where this is understandable to me, but I don't necessarily agree. I strongly believe that this fast pace is exactly what Kubo was going for the first section of this arc. We've had 62 chapters adapted into 13 episodes, which puts us at about 4.7 chapters per episode. Given the amount of action in this arc, that's honestly expected from a seasonal adaptation of a battle shonen war arc. And somehow they managed to fit in a bunch of added scenes very organically without it ever feeling shoehorned in or out of place. And to substantiate this even further, the fast pace of the first 7 episodes for the first invasion is very narratively fitting. The entire point of this attack is that the Quincy's catch the Shinigami of Soul Society completely off guard, launching a surprise attack and murdering thousands of the Soul Reapers in a short span of time. It's a ruthless, cold-blooded assault, and the fast pace actually works perfectly for that sort of thing. Let's quickly do some maths on this. The original anime of Bleach contained 164 filler episodes out of the total 366. That's 44.8% of the entire anime being dedicated to filler, and that gives us 202 episodes of canon material. The anime goes to the end of the Fullbring arc, which is chapter 479 in the manga, which puts us at about 2.4 chapters per episode. This means that the 1000 Year Blood War anime has been adapting almost exactly twice as much content as the original anime. And what's one of the biggest problems with the original anime? The terribly inconsistent pacing and padding. There are so many episodes that feel like they drag on and on and on forever, and to rectify this crucial flaw, the new anime has been going at a much more consistent and natural pace. The reason this is all possible is because Pierrot went down the seasonal anime route of splitting this production up into 4 separate cours or seasons, which honestly is the absolute best thing about this entire adaptation. Even though the manga is complete and we wouldn't have the problem of filler in a weekly anime adaptation, the production would be inconsistent at best. Adapting 206 chapters worth of material back to back like that would not have been a smart decision at all, so thank God they went with this approach. We have 3 cours remaining, which presumably consists of 39 episodes, and we have 144 chapters of the manga left to be adapted. At the current pace of 4.7 chapters per episode, they would only require 30 episodes to completely adapt the rest of the manga, which means there are 9 episodes for them to work with, and that brings me on to my next point, the added material. This is the aspect of this anime adaptation where Kubo's presence has been felt the most. The amount of bonus content we've received is genuinely insane. I don't think any manga reader was expecting this much new stuff going into the anime, especially not this early. Given Kubo's health complications towards the final third of the 1000-Year Blood War in the manga, people always expected some new material there, but in this first cour, this was already pretty much perfect in the manga, but no, Kubo had to make it even better. We got a full 1v1 Sakuga fest between Ichigo and Yuhaba, a completely new 2-minute added scene showing a flashback of the original Gotei 13 in the war against Yuhaba 1,000 years ago, which included a huge twist regarding Sasakibe that shines a whole new light on Yamamoto's character and his demise. We got to see Haribel struggling against Yuhaba, which was something manga readers have always wanted. Throughout the entire season, we got scenes of Uryu in the background studying the history of the Quincy's and coming to his own conclusions, which functions as this constant thread that culminates in the final scene of the season. And yes, we've also had some cut content, the most notorious of which being Byakuya's speech at Sasakibe's funeral, which was a very crucial part of that moment. However, after much consideration, I honestly think this was a smart move and a necessary sacrifice. It does suck to lose that character moment for Byakuya, but the scene in the anime is a masterpiece in atmosphere, tone, and directing, with absolute silence throughout. And it's actually much more fitting, given Yamamoto's sadness and the overall vibe of the scene, showing us just how much Sasakibe meant to Soul Society. But other than that one thing, everything else we've had cut is pretty negligible. If you care that much about Rukia's ass and Masaki's breasts, I don't know what to say for you, man. Tomohisa Taguchi is the director of the Bleach 1000-Year Blood War anime, and let me tell you, this guy is something special. This guy gets it. We've had some next level Sakuga effects, especially in episodes 6, 7, and 13. We've had some absolutely fantastic camera work like shakes and genius framings that communicate the purpose of the scene through visuals alone. The storyboarding has been genius throughout, accentuating every beat of the narrative through well-timed visuals. My favorite example being the title card of episode 12, right when Ishin is about to tell Ichigo the truth about Masaki's death. But that's just my personal favorite. There are so many other brilliant examples, like for example in episode 6, the back and forth flashes between past and present for the battle between Yamamoto and Yuhaba. I really like bringing up this example because it communicates a lot about this conflict between Soul Reapers and Quincy's. This fight between the head of these two factions is something that spans generations, and that's communicated just through some simple storyboarding techniques. There is genuinely so much we could talk about. I'm honestly regretting not having done a comprehensive review of every episode as it released, but it isn't too late for that, and perhaps I'll do that for the next 3 seasons, because if Pierrot keep things up, at this pace this will likely be one of my favourite anime of all time, and something tells me that despite how brilliant it's been so far, they're only just getting started, and they plan to go even harder in the near future. I cannot wait for July. With that being said, thank you guys very much for watching, and leave a like if you agree with me that this is the perfect anime comeback for Bleach.